Hello, Ben Northey here, the Chief Conductor of the Christchurch Symphony Orchestra. I wanted to make this video to introduce the last of our Lamb and Hayward Masterworks programs for 2024, which involves something very, very special, and that is a Mahler symphony, something we have not done for quite a long time at the Christchurch Symphony Orchestra. We often leave these gargantuan Mahler symphonies for other bigger orchestras in New Zealand. However, the Fourth Symphony is not so big, and it's probably, for many people, their favourite of Mahler's symphonies, certainly the most naive and innocent of his symphonies, sometimes even humorous, I would say, but finishes with a song which is very unusual in the symphonic form, sung by soprano, in our case, the wonderful New Zealand soprano Annalisa, who's returning to the orchestra. We can't wait to work with her. But the song is taken from a poem, and the poem is from Des Knaben Wunderhorn, The Youth's Magic Horn, which is a collection of poems from the early 19th century that are very integral to Germanic folklore. And Mahler based many of his pieces of music on these poems. The second, third, and fourth symphonies are all called Wunderhorn symphonies, and they're based on this material. That's the final movement of this symphony, is a child's depiction of heaven. And it's very innocent and gentle and naive, as you would expect. So we're really excited to be performing a Mahler symphony. I know it's something that the musicians and I have wanted to do for a long time, and we're thrilled to be able to finally be performing one. It's not the only piece of music that has a song or singing from the perspective of a child. The second work that we're performing is written by the American composer Samuel Barber. That was written in 1947, Knoxville, the summer of 1915. And it doesn't really tell a story, but it's a poetic evocation of life in the American South as seen from the perspective of a small boy. And again, Anna will be singing this song. The preamble is a simple, dreamlike depiction of an evening. It's narrated by a child who, at times, he transforms into an adult, so it's difficult to tell the identity of the singer, but it sort of enhances the dreamlike quality of the work. And Samuel Barber has a wonderful quote. He says, "You see, it expresses a child's feelings of loneliness, wonder, and lack of identity in that marginal world between twilight and sleep." And written by the poet James Agee. And I think he's going back to a time in his life when he was 6 years old, just before the death of his father the following year, when his world changed significantly. So again, just a spectacular piece of 20th century music. The summer of 1915, Knoxville by Samuel Barber. And it sort of feeds into, I suppose, the idea of this program, which is really about, I want to say life and death, but it's really loss, innocence and loss. And the first piece is by Boulanger, the French composer of the early 20th century who died very young, I think at the age of about 24, far too young. We performed on a spring morning of hers last year in a concert that included Stravinsky's Petrushka. And that was one of a pair of works that she wrote basically on her deathbed or very close to death. And this one is very profound and moving. It's called On a Sad Evening. It was originally written for a chamber ensemble. I think it was flute, violin, and piano. But it was expanded by her sister, the famous composition teacher Nadia Boulanger, into a full orchestral work. Lily was an absolute genius. She, as I said, was taken from us far too young. But this is a chance for us to discover perhaps her music and think about what legacy she may have led had she lived a little bit longer. She didn't leave a program specifically for this work, but, as the title would suggest, it's all emotion, it's all shadow, and it does remind you of the music of Claude Debussy, who interestingly died only 20 days after her. He was 54 years old, also, too young. But they were both really leaders in French music in their own way. And Lily Boulanger's music deserves a wider audience. And I'm thrilled that we're able to, over 2 years, perform both of these works and give you a chance to discover her music as well. So a very stimulating, rich program of great music and great emotion, and all in that magnificent Christchurch Town Hall, the Douglas Lilburn Auditorium, which, again, is just such a joy and a privilege to perform in, to make sound in. It's a stunning venue. So we hope you can join us and look forward to seeing you at the concert.